Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Look at this. It's actually working.
Hey, Paul.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
That's awesome. I'm tickled that it's working, you
My,
know.
my cat's hanging out with me, watching you as well.
Oh, that's so awesome. Uh I've lost I'm really learning how to do this as we go, uh,
Yeah.
how to operate the Zoom and stuff. I've done a few trial runs with just one person, so I don't know how it's going to be when other people join, if they join. Wonder what was wrong with the original link. I mean, I sent you one via text, but wonder why the other one didn't work.
So I had to go back to your post about it, and the link was in there. So
Okay, cool. Well, it was on Facebook as well, so
okay.
all right, well, excellent. I was trying to mess with this where I can see you. I mean, not where I can see you because you said but where I could see myself on here along with you being on here, but I don't really know how to do this. So I'll be learning as we go with this craziness. Uh,
Oh, go to the top right. There's a
Look, you're helping me again, like just back it like it worked.
the top right. There's those little squares.
Yeah, all
Looks like a
nine.
Rubik's cube. Yeah.
Yeah, click that,
Yeah.
and then what?
Put gallery view.
Well, it is on gallery.
Oh,
So wonder why it is like that.
that is weird.
Isn't that weird? Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't see you. I just see your name and the whole screen says your name. I was doing this the other night with somebody and I was figuring it out, but uh
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it'll I'll figure it out as we go. It doesn't really matter because you didn't want to be on the screen anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm not prepared.
Well, so yeah, so I'll figure this out as we go. Hey, at least you're on and you can hear me and I can hear you. And then I've got the YouTube audio down so it doesn't feed back. So I did figure that part out.
Nice. I'm impressed. I don't even know how you did this, but
I have no idea either. It was funny. I had read over earlier today, and we did an interview, and I'll be editing that and putting it out at some point. He's like, I'm really impressed you figured all this out. I go, well, Chat GPT's helped me.
oh, nice.
Oh my God, have you used that?
Yes, I've heard that it's really good for like
Oh, it's
asking.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's scary almost.
I know you would ask it anything.
Yeah, yeah, it has boundaries. So you can't just ask it anything. But what freaks me out is it remembers things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
we were laying there watching TV last night and I go, you remember my wife, right? And it knew her name and everything. I go, oh my God, this is crazy.
That is
And
crazy.
it knew Meow Meow's name and everything.
Wow.
It's just fascinating to me. But and then I didn't realize that it has a setting for the audio and he hears you, right? So now that I got it on doing that, I was trying to figure something out and it had like 7 steps to it. Well, I wasn't going to be able to remember the 7 steps, so I read them to him and I was like, or whatever the hell it is. And I said, hey, read this back to me, but let me get to where I got to be. And it read it back to me. Oh, is that your kitty you just sent me?
Yeah. She's just sitting right there watching you.
He's like, what's going on? Oh, I miss her. She looks a whole lot like Meow Meow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
think she thinks I'm gonna put that little cat game on the iPad.
right.
So she
Right.
just stares at it.
Meow Meow will sit and watch a movie. It was crazy the other night.
It's weird.
And
Yeah.
he's sitting there watching. One time we watched The Fox and the Hound and he was glued to the television.
No,
Oh my God, it was crazy how that works.
cute,
Well,
of
first of all, thank you for calling in
course.
and being a guinea pig for this whole, and I have no idea why I'm doing this or what I'm doing or what this will morph into if it morphs into anything, but it's something to do, right?
Yeah. I don't know how much knowledge I have, but
Well, I mean, you're in the game, so you know more about it than I do, you know. I want to preface this conversation by saying I want to preface it by saying, thank God I'm old and and married to the best woman on the planet. So I'm good to go. But I'm just curious as to what y'all go through, how the apps work. Uh, I like to think back in when I was in the dating deal, you know, what would I have done with that app? You know, I mean, would I have liked it? Would I have not? I'm just curious about it all. And then maybe you can also later on define Netflix and chill. I've heard that a lot, and I'm like, what does that even mean? You know, other than what it sounds like it means, you know. So I'm curious about that too. So.
Okay, so are there any like disclaimers or like you gotta censor things on here?
Well, you know, I don't know enough about it. I mean, I guess you just the normal stuff. I guess we can just talk like we used to, and you know where we were used to be. I guess we pretty much know how not to get too crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any. I mean, let's just go right out and say something we probably know we shouldn't say. I think we'll be all right. We won't get too crazy. I don't think.
Yeah. No, and hopefully you don't get banned from YouTube.
Right, exactly. Because yeah, exactly. Because you know when I get going, I mean, I speak before I think a lot of times. However, I recommend everybody recording themselves for 30 minutes because that first
Oh,
interview I did, and as I edited it, I'm like, oh my God, I edited out a whole lot.
well, this is gonna be my first, so
Okay, I'm so excited. Well, I don't know. I guess let's start by um, give me a little background. Um. And then we'll go from there, I guess, you know. I mean,
yeah,
we know each other, everything probably about each other, but you know,
a little intro.
yeah, a little intro on what's going on.
Okay, well, like how I know you, or just like just right off the subject.
Yeah, just right off the subject. Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
Well, I've been on the dating app since I think it was November of last year, so not too long. I mean,
Mhm.
I joined Hinge, um, I joined Bumble, and then I joined uh this other app. It's not very common, and I don't know. It's been very interesting to say the least.
So is
And
that was your first intro to that? I mean, prior to that, you never used them,
I mean, I've seen them through my friends, like them swiping right and swiping left, and
right?
they use it for a hookup app and things like that. So, but yeah, this is my first time ever using it, and I'm 32. So,
Wow.
yeah. So,
When you say hookup app, that means that's where the Netflix and chill comes in. Is
yeah.
is
Yeah.
is that come over and let's him up like from what back in my day? Is that what that means exactly?
Yeah. So, you just have usually it's like, oh yeah, you're casually coming over to watch TV and
Right.
Netflix, and then you're hanging out, and then eventually that's what it turns into. Yeah.
Wow. And both parties know that going in.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Well, so well, doesn't that like for the guy, doesn't that seems to take the the chase out of it, you know? I mean the what I recall back in the day, if my memory goes back that far, was to the oh look, she's hot, and then the next couple hours to get to the point to where you're back at the house is you know the chase, and the other just seems to take all that out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you would just meet people organically, like at the club or whatever,
Right,
the bar, and then
right.
then you'll be like, oh yeah, come to my house, and then there you are.
Yeah, exactly. In the 2 hours or 3 hours or 10 minutes, or depending on who you're meeting. That's the fun part, you know. So the app to me seems like, although if you're having a bad night, you know, hey, that works too. You know, I don't know. It's just it's so weird for me to think about that.
It is. So some people like on their profiles, it's kind of like a Facebook profile, but more. narrowed down.
Mhm.
Um, and they give you prompts on what to put there. Some people are just direct and like, hey, I'm just looking for a hookup. And then other people are just like, oh, I'm not looking for a hookup. I'm looking, to find someone. Um,
Right.
so some people are really direct off the bat, off their profile, or
Yeah.
they're really direct to you in the DMs, as we call them, so in the chat.
What? So the D. That's explain that to me. D. I've heard about that. I watched some uh, YouTube thing. What is it? Whatever podcast. I've seen that before. Where they have all the OnlyFans. Uh,
Oh god.
Jesus God, they all look like brat dolls. It's like Jesus. But whatever. So, but anyways, so he's like, slide into their DMs. So, what does that exactly mean? Does that mean just text somebody in a chat? Is that all that means?
Yeah, it means direct message. So whatever app they're using, like Instagram, the dating apps, they're gonna be like, just DM me through the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So that's,
basically.
so that's how you slide into someone. So when you're on these apps and you're just uh scrolling through, what are you looking for exactly? Like what is the picture? Where men are more visual than women, but I don't know how visual women are. I mean, like if they're too hideous, I'm sure you'll pass it up. But what's the first thing you look at?
That's a good question. It has to be some type. I'm not like 100% on looks, but it has to be some type of physical attraction, obviously.
Right.
Um, and then I'll go through their profile and I'll see if like they're pretty detailed on what they want. Some people are so vague, it's like, okay, what are you here for? And then sometimes that like builds curiosity. And so you do direct message them if they don't have like enough information. But some people don't waste their time doing that. But me, I just look for like, because a lot of these profiles prompt you like, oh, are you looking for marriage? If you were in a long-term relationship, fill in the sentence kind of thing. And like, I kind of like reading what people have to say, about, I guess, deeper things.
Yeah.
And then what they're into. Interest is obviously a common one. Their job title. Some people don't put their job title, which I guess is fine. So yeah, I just look. If it's too vague, I'm kind of like, eh. But if they put just enough information, I'll be like, oh, okay, they sound interesting. You would swipe right or whatever the case may be.
And when you swipe right, then what happens in the app itself? That opens up a window where you can actually talk to them.
Yeah. So then, if you swipe like, because it's going through a feed of people, and
Mhm.
so and I think it goes by location as well, depending what app, like Hinge. Um, if I match with someone, my radius and the age limit I set, and if they swipe right, we could pop. That's how we match. So I guess it's just like a Russian roulette kind of thing, and it's like, oh, you don't know if they will or not. It's just taking that chance, I guess.
Right. So you swipe right, then you wait for them to swipe on you.
Yeah, not so much like waiting, but like it is what it is kind of thing. Because there's so many people on there. Like you could swipe right on every person, or you could just right on one person that you're really, I guess, looking, you know, to talk to.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just depends on your preference, honestly.
Well, prior to using the dating apps, how did you just do it like what I recall used to, you just go out and just meet people? What made you turn to the dating apps?
So yeah, I did go out a lot, and that's how I'd like to meet someone organically,
Yes.
out in the bar or wherever. Um, Honestly, I'm just so curious because I've been married and I've been in relationships, and since the dating apps came out. So I was so like, now that I'm single, I was like, oh, I wonder what this is like. Um
Yeah. So
it,
curiosity then.
yeah, definitely curiosity. and something different, something new for me to do because I'm not. I hate small talk. So
Right.
um, but I was like, oh, let me try something new, I guess. So, but it was terrible.
So your experience with dating apps, you didn't like them very well.
Yeah, it's just obvious that all the men just want one thing. So
Right. Well, that's all they want in the club too, probably.
yeah.
You know, at least that's what you tell your daughters when they're growing up. You
Mhm.
and that's not really what all they want. I mean, you know, people
Yeah.
want, I would say that's more on their mind than on the female's mind, you know. Uh, but then it's like they always talk about, um, well, my grandmother used to say a woman will or can as long as she will, and a man will as long as he can, you know. So um, it's not as, you know, if a girl goes out to a club, if all they want to do is just hook up with somebody, it's not very, I would say it would be very hard for them to do that. Or a guy, you know, gets turned down 30 or 40 times while he's at the club, you know, until he looks up. So I guess it's all in what you want. And in general, I would say you're probably right that whether it's on the app or whether it's in a club, you know, it's just a big meat market basically, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are some people it just, sooner or later show their true colors either on the date or on just more as the conversation, developed.
right.
It just I don't know, there's a lot of people that gave me the ick.
I've heard them say that before. What is they've said I've heard them say that on these talk show or these podcasts, the ick. So that just makes you feel uh, like you're eerie about the person, or they make you they're
It's just
disgusting, or what does that mean exactly?
it's just like a big turn off. Like if they,
Right,
I don't know, say something like they're trying to seek like one person trying to seek too much validation or and just how they went about it just gave me the ick. Just like, oh no.
so it was what do I've always wondered about this. I used to hang out with a guy that was amazing when we went to clubs. I've never seen anybody, you know, hook up like he could. And it would work, and he would just be so just not standoffish, but he would just give the girls hell and act like he didn't care whether they were around or not, you know.
Oh.
Where I would be, you know, just trying to be nice and stuff, which in generally that didn't usually work. But just the way his rough treatment seemed to work every time. It's like, how do you even do that? You know? And he had he had the air of like he just didn't care, you know? Is
Mm.
that is that a turn on for girls when the guy doesn't act like he cares whether you're there or not? Is it that allure of like you
I can see how he could get females like that, but for me that would not work.
that would yeah, that would it'd be you would consider that to be rude, I would think.
Yeah, or just he's full of himself or just no. Yeah, no.
Right. So that's another turn off if somebody's too arrogant, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess if the guy was good looking enough, maybe the females didn't care about that.
Right.
But
Well, and it would all depend, I guess, on the girl's self-esteem too, you know.
exactly, yeah. Me, I don't care how handsome you are, how good looking. You're not you're not gonna act arrogant. I don't
It's not going to work very well, is it?
know.
Well, what about so back a long time ago, back in the 80s, back when I was in high school, you wasn't gonna unless you had like a nice car or you were a football player, basketball player, or of money, you just wasn't gonna it wasn't gonna happen, you know.
Mm,
But now it seems like, and maybe, you know, of course, hindsight you know, your memory alters every time you think about something. When you remember something, it'll change. You edit your memory. So after 30 or 40 years, a memory that you're remembering probably didn't even happen like that at all, or even if it happened at all, you know. So it's certainly probably is not like you remember it. But that's what I remember. And now when you're out and you see, you know, a hottie or a good looking girl walking next to, and you're thinking, what the, you know, it's like, really? How did this dude get, you know, how did he score this?
Mm.
So it's almost like, what happened to the girl's self? What happened to their taste? It makes you feel like it's gone down at some point, you know, because like you wouldn't see a good looking girl back in the day, or I don't remember you that you would go, you know, hanging out with some wormy dude, you know. Well, maybe Wormy's in now, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I think yeah,
Are
you're
you with
right.
me or what?
Yeah,
What?
no, I definitely see that. I mean, you see that a lot in the celebrity world, like Kim Kardashian with Pete Davidson. It's like, what's going on?
Right? Or Selena's new man, you know, or whatever.
Is he wormy?
No, he just, I don't know. Who knows? That's like I say, thank God I'm old and I don't have to stress it. I just don't know how it would function with all this insanity, you know. I just,
Yeah.
crazy. So your experience with the dating apps then wasn't a positive one. Are you still, so you're off of them altogether or no?
Yeah, I'm definitely off of it. I'm just too many. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just I mean, I think a lot of people need to go to therapy.
Do what?
A lot of people need to go to therapy because there was always just something like I don't know. It was just very cringe to see.
Right.
But yeah, I don't plan on going back.
Well, you know, a lot of people use them. A lot of people I know that's met on them, got married on them, and you know, in a way, I mean, because you only meet people usually. You're either at work when you meet them, or if you go to church, you'll meet them at church, you
Hmm.
know, and or uh, you know, unfortunately, sometimes best friends and best girlfriends, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
that happens, you know, you cheat, usually they cheating with the best friend usually because that's, you know, they're always around, you know, that's how that works. But so I guess the apps are good in a way where it's another place to meet. But then again, like you say, the people that use them, you know what you're getting because anybody can get on and use them, you know.
Yeah,
You
certain people say they're there for, oh yeah, just, a fling or whatever, and then they want a serious relationship, and I'm just like, where did this come from?
Yeah, exactly.
We specifically said in the beginning, what our intentions were, or sometimes you don't. I was very uh vocal about my intentions on there right off the bat, so it was just weird when people switched that up, and I was like, well, nothing's changed on my end, so.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know where you. Yeah, I didn't edit anything. It's still like I said it was. Exactly. Well, hey, were you ever scared when you met somebody? Like it would scare that part would scare me because you don't know who the hell you're meeting, you know, or what psychopath that's out there that's on the same app, you know. So how would you meet the person? Would you meet him in a public place? Like, you know,
Yeah,
how would
so
that work?
definitely in the public place, and then I have my location I was sharing with family. Um
In case you disappear, that you have your
yeah.
last location, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But it's nice now, especially Hinge. They call it a verified account. So what that means is like you have to go through like a like you have to scan your face to the app to make sure you're an actual like person and not a robot using the app or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, so and it's free. But some people don't do it, which is kind of sketchy. But I always
They don't have their picture on there. Yeah.
well, they do. It's just we don't know if it's verified. So there. there's a way you could filter like for verified profiles only. And maybe because they, if they're not verified, it's because they didn't set up their profile all the way. But for the most part, I always make sure it was a verified account. Um, yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's cool, Bill. Be better if you scanned your face and your damn record would pull up. Any priors?
Background check.
That's next, right? That'll be. But
Yeah.
there's like 100 of those apps. There's like there's I don't remember. Yeah, I guess I do remember Hinge. And then there's what's the one that's real popular?
Tinder.
That's it. Yeah, Tinder. And then there's Farmers, whatever the hell, and then
Raya, Bumble. Yeah.
yeah, Bumble. There's an old people one. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. There's a ton of them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the main way people meet. I mean, like it's for real. Like
Yeah.
most people use this,
Yeah. It sometimes it sucked because conversations went nowhere. And
right? So, like, give me a for instance. So you meet them on. So you look, you read their profile. Okay, this person sounds interesting. Let's meet. You get through all that, and you go meet with them, and then are they like? Because some people are good with text and they're good over the phone or whatever, but then they're socially inept when you meet them.
Yeah.
So did you run into that? Was that part of something you ran into?
I actually didn't. No, I did not. It just took a while, I guess, to like get to the point where, hey, let's meet up. 'Cause some just never got to that point.
Uh,
Just because either the conversation died off or just, I don't know, lost interest.
right.
But the people that I did meet up with, it's pretty fair. Like, um, I was able to conversate with them better, in person.
Okay. So that worked out better than you thought it would.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was definitely scared, like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't know what you're gonna say, but yeah.
It's not like a natural. I'm just trying to remember. Like I said, it's been many years, but I remember just going to a club or whatever. We would go to what we used to be called the Red Roper, and then it was called Kickers. And we would go in there, and I would just dance. I would just drink and dance before we went to work because we worked mids. So I would go there and get tore up. Then I'd actually go to work, and then it's a nightly thing. But I just remember having a good time and never really cared who I met or who I talked to, and that seemed to work out pretty good. If you go there with an agenda, it usually doesn't work because evidently the girls just know that you why you're there. And you try too hard, and they're like whatever. And then a lot of times the girls are just they're hanging out, and they don't want nobody talking to them. But I don't ever remember going up and pestering anybody that much. Uh, so I'm trying to liken that to these apps. I guess if you were just broke and just wanted to hook up, I could see where the app might be beneficial. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, cool. Let me find some other desperate person, and we can use each other as like scratching posts for an hour or two and then be done with. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, I guess the apps work real well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely to hook up. Yeah.
But if you wanted something like decent or something, if you were actually lonely and you wanted a for real relationship with somebody,
I mean, I think it depends on the app choice,
right?
and I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. I mean, obviously people have met there and they're married.
I know a lot of people that's met on them and happily married. Yeah, I know and I mean, a bunch of people I know it's worked real well for them. I'm just curious as they just can't fathom using it, from being the generation that I'm from.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's for me, but we'll see.
We'll see. But you're done with them though, right? You're going back to the old
Yeah, for now I'm done. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many apps out there. I mean, there's even a dating app where you can it might sound kind of crazy, but you could put an offer, they could pay you to go on a date with them. basically.
They
And
could pay you to go on a date with. Oh, that's something else I want to ask you about, but go ahead. So say that again now. Tell me about that.
yeah, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, you could you can literally put like a set like almost like a bidding price. You could set
Are you
yourself
serious?
like 120, hey, you take me out on a first date, and they could accept the offer, they can deny it, or they could offer you a price of $50 to whatever, and you could accept it or deny it. But that one's a little weird. Like I've heard about that one. I'm like, I don't know.
So, and you don't remember the name of it?
I no, I forgot what it's called.
So you get on there and this person, and it's like a bit, it's like an auction type thing.
That's what it feels like.
And you bid on somebody to go out with them to spend X. So they're like, I'll go out with you if you spend so much money on me. Are you serious?
Yeah. I
Oh, hell to the no. That's crazy as hell.
there's a lot of old men on there, I feel like.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And that's what here's the you made me remind me what I want to ask you.
Mhm.
So I was also been listening to where these girls have rosters. You know, they date like 4 or 5 different guys a week, and they get all these free meals, which is basically what you're talking about, I think.
Yes,
And
yes.
so and they say how many's on your and I'm listening to this conversation and I go, the hell are you even talking about? What do you mean on their roster? And these women are like, well, they got like 15 guys. And
Yep.
I'm like, so you have 15 people that take you out random, that in order usually, and they're taking these girls out and spending whatever they're spending on them,
Yeah.
and knowing that they're going out with 14 other people.
Yeah,
I,
so
what the, they called that whore when I was a kid,
yeah. So I
you
mean,
know.
it can mean a lot of things, honestly. It could be that you're just dating, multiple people,
Right.
whatever your number is.
That's insanity, though, to me. Or
But yeah, they
maybe not
just
a whore, but at least a slut. I don't know.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
that's an old person's idea of that, though. I guess it's okay now. Hell, I don't know.
yeah, it's actually it's very common.
It's
Females
insanity.
just rotate between guys and hey, take me out here. Then next week they're with a different person. So yeah.
My grandmother would call that a tramp. I mean, it's,
Well, some people might not sleep with them, Paul. I don't know. They
well,
might go
yeah, but
for
still,
dinners.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm not considering any other option other than that.
Yeah.
That would be sleeping with them. That shows what a piece of shit I am, right? Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I just can't fathom that dating somebody that's also dating somebody else. Can't imagine that.
Yeah, it's just very casual now. Like, um, yeah, I think it's more common now.
So then do relationships ever get deep? I mean, like it makes you wonder then
Yeah,
if it's just at a surface level, if all it is you're going out and hanging out and you're going out to eat or whatever, and you just are people capable of having anything deeper than that? You wonder. You know what I mean?
right. I think a lot of people like the, multiple people, multiple validation from many people. I think it depends like on, yourself, what, how you value yourself. If you're looking to like really get to know someone, you would drop everyone else kind of thing, and
Right.
pursue that person or vice versa with the male and female.
Well, I like what you just said. You talk about multiple validation, so it makes you wonder what people are lacking. They
Hmm.
need that from so many people. And then is it because of this generation where I was watching a show earlier today and they were talking about uh the mother and daughter were arguing and the daughter blasted her on Facebook or whatever. And the mother was upset that she did that. And the judge was telling them that, well, today's generation gets that validation from that. Where an older person would be like, why would you go on the mountaintop and tell your
Hmm.
business?
Yeah.
Where the younger person didn't look at it like that, at all. She didn't. And so it was like two worlds colliding, basically. And so maybe it's part of that. Maybe it's part of the people need that from multiple people, which almost implies that they're lacking something
Oh,
inside of them to have to get that from so many different people, you know. And maybe it's just part of the age. What do you think?
yeah, no, definitely this newer generation because they get instant gratification, from social media.
Right,
That's what they grew up with. So, yeah,
right.
online dating to them is just like, oh, more people I could see, more people that could compliment me, kind of thing. They,
Exactly. That's it. You know, I think you touched on that. That's excellent.
well, I got a little sister that's doing it.
So she so she needs that from multiple people.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Can you see where the different generations completely don't understand each other, you know?
Yeah.
Because in our it was like what we were talking about that one day when I was told you I was watching this thing about this serial killer, Gary Ridgway, Green River Killer or whatever he was called.
Hmm.
And the girls that he was killing were prostitutes. You know, he pretty much killed most of them were all prostitutes. And he killed, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, 50. I don't know how many he killed. It's a crazy amount. Um, and this just to show you how one generation looks at something and another generation looks at something. So this was in the 80s, and they said that the body they found had the female had tattoos on it, and it said which would imply that she was either into narcotics or prostitution.
Mm.
Because in the 80s, evidently, not a lot of girls had tattoos, and if they did have tattoos, that was what that's that the even the cops, that was an identifier for the cops. Hey, well, she must be doing this or this. Now everybody has them, and it doesn't mean that in the least. Everybody has tattoos. So you can see where one generation uh thinks a certain way and another generation it's not even in the same conceptual universe, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
to where my generation would be like, well, somebody that would date 4 or 5 people a week, what the fuck, and that but people in this generation it's not a big deal, they're just hanging out, you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. Def-
And I hate to get old and just have that. I want to be able to look at things for what they really are and not have that old mindset about, well, that just equals that, and that's black and white, and there it is. I want to understand what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
mm. Yeah.
Because I don't want to be old and just be set, and I want to think about something the right way. Where what you said is that validation. So that that kind of opened me up with that. I can completely understand that now why they do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? So I like that's why I like one thing you gotta do is surround yourself with younger people, you know?
Yeah. I think you're doing pretty good. You know all the lingo.
Well, I've been watching these. I mean, I'm not working now, so I sit around and watch this bullshit on TV, you know. I'll sit around and watch this podcast or that podcast, and I'm in amazement watching this stuff. So it's like I gotta find out about this. I gotta ask some people that are actually doing this and try to understand what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your personal long-term goal? You thinking about do you want to get married again at some point?
Yeah, definitely. I do want to get married again. I just taking my time. I knew that, going on the dating apps, it wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to find my person, but it was just something to experiment with. And I'm like, okay, I don't think it's for me.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm definitely on the path, yeah, to find someone, but not like, you know, like hurry up into things. Um,
Right.
but
What are
yeah.
you looking at? Do you go to church or anything like that?
Um, no, I don't go to church as often as I want to, but honestly, I'm more like exploring, like I'm trying to go to, eat by myself, do things like alone,
Right.
you know, kind of be happy with myself in my in my little element. I do go out like on weekends sometimes, and then traveling. I feel like traveling is a good opportunity to meet like new people as well. So
Oh yeah, you travel, don't you? Where's have you been lately? Anywhere?
I just went to Vegas.
Oh wow, you did. That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to Barcelona in 2 days. So
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Well,
yeah,
how long, you going by yourself or?
I'm going with Teresa.
Oh, she's a traveling little thing too, ain't she?
Yeah,
I just love her. She's so sweet.
yeah. For spring break, we're just gonna do that and travel. So
That is so cool. Well, look, you be careful going to them places.
I will.
Y'all always stay together. You never go out nowhere by yourself, do you?
No, no, no.
That's good. I'm always worried when somebody I know goes somewhere, you know. You never know what they'll get into or who will follow them because people are. I watch too many tragic things and then I'm always paranoid about it, you know.
Yeah, your true crime.
Yeah, I need to quit watching it because I'm like, no wonder I don't sleep. Yeah, let's watch Ted Bundy documentary and go to bed. That doesn't work very well usually. You know. Well, this has absolutely been enlightening. I'm just curious as if they'd had it back in the day, would I've used it? I'm sure that I would have used it.
I think you would.
I'm sure in my early 20s I would have probably used it. To be honest.
Yeah.
But it's still it would I still think it takes a lot of the fun of meeting people and getting somebody interested. You know what I mean?
The chase, as you say.
The chase is almost as much fun as the payoff, I think, sometimes,
Mm.
you know. And then if you get really good at it, I used to know guys that were silver tongued devils, It's like Jesus. And then you wonder that's all the stuff that you gather in your head as you get older, so you can warn your daughters about when they get older. It's like, a man will sit, a guy will sit for hours and act interested over the shit that he's like, Jesus, God, I got to listen to this. And so there's a lot of acting interested over stuff that they don't really care about for the end result. So, and I'm sure that hasn't changed, whether you meet them, as you say, organically or on the dating app, that's still going on.
Yeah.
They're still wanting to hook up. It's just a different way to hook up nowadays, I guess. But all that stuff can't compare to meeting somebody that's that cares about you like you care about them. Like it's not even in the same world uh as finding somebody that you're like soulmate, as they say, or a life partner. That it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
And I wish that for everybody. I really do, because life can be a lonely thing, if you don't have somebody that cares about you. Uh,
Yeah. That's what we're seeking out here.
that's yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for calling in, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. Not a lot. I don't know how. I'm learning how to do this stuff, so it'll get better as we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Now that it's like live, I think it saves on your YouTube, right? As you can't
It's
edit it, right?
it saves, and then the way I understand it, the other day it said it'll save for 30 days and then it'll delete it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, live, but the other stuff I think stays on there forever, or until you get rid of it.
Okay.
But hey, look, I really, really, really appreciate you doing this trial run with me and going in depth on these dating apps. And I wish you all the best. I want you to find somebody like I did and just settle down and be happy.
That's the goal, Paul. That's the
That's
goal.
yeah. Well, look, you have a good night and be careful. And then you're gonna buy me something while you're in Barcelona.
Yeah, a little shot glass for Jenny.
Yeah, can you get Jenny a shot glass?
Of course. Yeah.
You're amazing.
I appreciate it, Paul,
Hey,
for having me here.
you have a good night, sweetie.
All right, you too.
Bye.